Hello, I'm Orlin. Welcome to Speaking of Everything. For the first time on Speaking of Everything, I have Mr. Claude Javios. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good to have you in the program, man.
Thank you so much.
It's the first time I've met you,
Yes, sir.
but it seems like you're doing some good things for Simran.
Yes, I'm trying to do some great things for the kids, especially the kids, since they are our future pioneers of our island.
So you're the founder of what?
I'm the founder of the Green Dream Projects, St. Martin, which was established in 2018. And in that particular project, we have green ambassadors, chief ambassadors, and we are working along with the teachers, directors, administrators of the schools. Several schools. We have right now 20 plus schools that are part of the Green Dream Project. So as of early last year, we had the three schools, but now we have expanded to over 20 schools.
Great. So the thing is that not anyone can be an ambassador for your project, right?
Well, we can have green businesses, we can have green ambassadors. All of us I can consider us ambassadors, but in this sense, we are talking about green ambassadors of our environment.
All right, let's go back a little bit because it's good to know your background. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your education, etc.
I have my master's degree in environmental waste management, my associate degree in biomedical engineering technology, my bachelor's degree in allied health administration, and I also have a business administration degree.
All right, so you're well qualified for this project.
Yes, sir. It was part of my thesis coming from the U.S. education system back to St. Martin to share my educational wisdom with the kids as it relates to the environment.
So you studied in the United States?
That's correct.
What school you went to?
I went to the University of Maryland, University of Alabama, and Faulkner University.
Oh, great. How was Maryland?
Maryland is nice. Maryland is very nice. It's beautiful. It's a little different. there's nothing that in comparison to St. Martin because, we are a friendly island, the environments are different.
Yeah. I kind of smiled when you said that, about Maryland. It's a great place.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long now you've been back home in St. Martin?
I've been back home. I came back to St. Martin in 2005, and then I was at the academy because I've been in the educational system next will make me 20 years. So I was at the academy, and then I moved on to the Mac School where I am currently. And so I've always worked with the science fair. So after Hurricane Irma is when I looked at being part of creating this project surrounding waste management because I saw the amount of debris, I saw the destruction, and I placed in my mind of creating something that I think would be valuable to the school system as well as students.
What I like about the Green Dream Project is that you're focusing on tomorrow.
That's correct.
Young people are for tomorrow, and too often we forget them. And I think that's so great that you did that.
Thank you. One of the things with the Green Dream ambassadors is under the Green Ambassadors, I have the initiative. I have certain rules that are required of the ambassadors. The Green Ambassadors are supervised by Green Ambassadors coordinators, and above the coordinators are the chief ambassadors, which are the administrators, or the school managers, the teachers, or the coordinators, and then we have the students. But I also have the students with certain responsibilities. I have them to take part in event planning, project designs, data entry clerks, public speaking. So, for example, if I want a student to discuss my project with at assembly, I would ask this student to discuss it. I would write up the script for the student, and then I will allow them to discuss it with the students. So it's for me not to be too much involved, other than I want the students to be more involved.
Mr. Javios, we have a huge waste management problem. I'm sure you know that better than I for your background. And it seems over the years we've had numerous discussions. Have you been following those discussions in terms of how to manage waste in St. Martin?
I have a general idea how it can be managed. I was very surprised when I came back to St. Martin, and I realized because as growing up as a kid, I used to go around the Great Salt Pond with my father, and but when I came here back from the U.S., I didn't really know what was there. But it's when I passed through the Phillipsburg and realized that the landfill was actually right there in the Great Salt Pond. I know, looking at air photography, I did see it at one time in the back of the Point Blanche area. And because normally if there's an area where you had a landfill and it's abandoned or taken away, there's also this left on stressed vegetation, which you can see in an air photography.
In fact, before it was moved to the center of the Great Salt Pond, it was on the 80 Illich Road. It was a small little dump there that was throwing garbage, and it just expanded. But the thing is that, what are young people saying to you when you approach them in the different schools about your project?
Well, they are saying great things. As a matter of fact, I have 400 plus ambassadors between
400?
400
Wow.
plus ambassadors, green ambassadors between all the schools.
So wait a minute. How that happens? You have, say, school X. They are part of the project.
That's correct.
Is every student in that school an ambassador?
We select students, at least 20
okay.
students from each school to be
Okay.
ambassadors. But they can have a rotation process, where a student could be ambassadors for this year. Next year we could choose another 40 students. But the whole thing, like for example, one of the schools I'm working with, the Hillside Christian, their waste management system is perfect.
Really?
I mean, I love it. It's very organized. The students rotate. The students take the recyclables from the classroom. They transport them to the exterior recycling bins. And then we have a service agreement, which I have with a waste hauler, which actually collects the recyclables on an as-needed basis.
So you said you have, how many schools are part of the project?
20 plus.
20. Are there
And
more
it's
schools?
growing. There's more schools.
Okay.
I have just the Weaver School just joined recently. I have the First Minister's Tiny Tots, which is coming this coming week.
So what has been your biggest surprise in this whole thing?
My biggest surprise was once I submitted a proposal to the school to join the Green Dream Project. They have been, I've gone from 3 schools to 20 in a hurry, plus in a hurry, and that's like last year. And it's this, and I expect all the schools to be part of the Green Dream Project by year end, as well as some businesses as well.
Everything is going green in a way.
There's no other way out but to go green. Based on what you've seen with the landfill, that's the only way. We need to go that way to save our island.
I was born here, grew up here. You said you went around the Great Salt Pond with your father?
Yes.
Well, I lived around the Great Salt Pond. I was born in Phillipsburg, up street, Secretary Street, Secretary Steak, they call it in Dutch. And as a little boy, I used to go there with my friends, walk around the Great Salt Pond,
Yes.
Looking at the birds, even picking salt sometimes. And we would swim on the beach on the other end of Great Bay. And when I see it today, it hurts me. It hurts me because that didn't have to happen. We had the most beautiful salt pond in the world.
Yes.
And we just destroyed it.
Well, looking at the salt pond, in a lot of countries, for example, from where I came from in the U.S. around, normally if you have a area that is a wetland that's greater than 1 acre, there are not regulations that does not allow facilities or structures to be built in a wetland area. Looking at the Great Salt Pond, it's a retention pond. It was intended as a natural pond to collect the floodgates that comes from the hillside. It wasn't intended to be filled. And one of the problems with the filling is flooding. And if the grounds become saturated, then you have a problem. Even though you have structures there, they can be flooded out as well.
Exactly.
And I don't want to say too much about the Great Salt Pond, how they should handle it, but I do have an idea what they can do in order to find a solution.
Well, it was cleverly done years ago. They had canals around the Great Salt Pond. With these canals, they directed the rainwater away from the salt pond so they can still harvest salt. That was pretty clever and how it was done. Yeah. We destroyed all of that, and I think what you look at today in St. Martin is a struggle to regain what we've had. And that's why your project, the Green Dream Project, focusing on young people, I think it's so important, and that's why when I read about it, I said I have to give this gentleman a call to tell us more about it.
Yes, I believe in being small. I believe in the instruction my professor gave me when I was in high school and elementary school. It's called KISS, keep it simple.
Mm.
You don't have to spend a lot of money, but you keep it simple enough where people can understand how it works. And so I decided to start with educational system because those are the future pioneers. They're the ones that are going to have most of the solutions, the engineers, the scientists, the geologists, etc. They're going to have solutions to our issues we have in the island. So I started in the educational system, and then I'm slowly expanding to the daycares, the nursing homes, etc. I will not go to the big businesses right now. I rather do educational-wise because the students can go and help the parents. They could set up recycling bins at their houses. In turn, you could have the school systems work around with the communities around them. They could have little projects. You could do it with the churches. Churches like Adventist Church have pathfinders. The pathfinders can work with projects around their church. And so it all comes together. And that's how we get people attaining knowledge and understanding what this whole recycling process is about.
I will say this, and this is my opinion here, and I really don't want to offend you. You don't look like the people who normally support green projects.
Well, I'm doing this as a person that want to give back to my community. I was born on the French side, and my thesis, my professor would be proud today at my master's degree level that I came back because my project was on the sustainability of the environment in St. Martin. And so I'm using my thesis as a way to create this Green Dream project, and that's what I'm doing.
The reason I say that, there's some people who feel that they have all the rights to these ideas and projects, etc. And unfortunately, that shouldn't be the case. And the other thing is that I noticed you're very cautious when you mention about your ideas that you may have for management of our waste problem. And I can understand that because politically on this island, when you do what you are doing, you automatically targeted by many people because it shouldn't be done by someone like you, number one. If you look around this island, most of the people who are involved in this project, they don't look like you. See, and at the same time, I'm not saying that to offend anyone, but I admire your initiative. And I hope that you don't let people scare you out of doing what you're doing for the future of St. Martin.
Well, this initiative is ongoing. It's sustainable. I have the financial backings. I have the support. It's a never-ending project. Reason why I say that is because the recycling bins are already in place. The schools have already accepted to be part of this green. The schools want to be green. So where else to start it? It's in our educational system. Once it's in the education system, you cannot stop students from learning. People, education is forever. There's no dead end to that. And our future pioneers are going to decide how this island is going to be operated in the future.
Just be careful they don't hijack it from you.
I would say this, is that it's here to stay. The Green Dream Project is here to stay. And I would say, in a positive way, it has been successful based on the fact that we have gone from one school to 20 plus schools, and I've have a handful of individuals, businesses that would like to be a part of this Green Dream project. But as I said, I believe in a KISS, keep it simple, a way as the students can understand. So what we have is we have recycling bins. We have one for the plastics, we contain the plastics, the glass. We have one for the aluminum cans, and then we have one for the collection of the caps of the plastic bottle, and that is to go along with the perpetual plastic project, which is coming alive sometime later this year, which is going to, in a technological way, innovative way, going to show the students how you can take these plastics bottles, the caps, and you can create new things out of it, tabletops, etc. And that is what the machine is going to do. So students will be able to see. So the collaboration I have is with the company that would I'm collecting the caps for them to be part of this collaboration that would extend the Green Dream Project into a technological sense, theory but technological, so students would have a hand-on and picture of what the recycling process is about.
Beautiful, Mr. Javios. Look, I'm so happy that you're doing that, and you're the person, as St. Martin is doing that. I think is important because too often we leave things up to other people. and we have to protect and take care of our island. So in case you've just joined us, I'm Oral Gibbs. This is Speaking of Everything. I'm speaking with Mr. Claude Javios. He's the founder of the Green Dream Project. I love that name.
Yeah.
And so when we come back, we're going to continue speaking with him right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Hot 99.9 FM radio.
We are vibrant, expressive, warm, and diverse. Together, we conquer, and now we expand into new horizons, giving you more of the best. Introducing our new Bankomatico Plus with wider acceptance, purchase protection, and enhanced security. Whether you're online, traveling, or in paradise, experience more with Windward Island Bank. Bankomatico Plus. More of the best.
Mr. Javios is the founder of the Green Dream Project, and we're here speaking with him about a project that's mainly focused towards students in schools.
Correct.
And you have the ambassadors,
and we have the chief ambassadors, and then etc. So we have what you see here is what I would have available for the chief ambassadors. Those are the administrators and the school managers.
Oh.
And what I have here is for the green ambassadors, which are the students. So I have two different kinds here. And if you can see, it says on here, Green Dream Projects, Sustainable Waste Management, Green Ambassadors, Eco-Friendly School and Businesses. So this is what it's all about. It's about the school system, but it's also businesses. Reason why businesses as well is because we have to work as a community.
Yeah, and you need money for things to work.
That's correct.
We fool ourselves, but the support of business is very important.
That's correct.
And having you here today, we are supporting you by bringing your project to the masses to understand what's happening.
Thank you.
So you have a list of all the schools on St. Martin, and then you only focus on the Dutch side of St. Martin or on both sides?
Okay, that's a very good question. For now, I'm focusing on the Dutch side because, the French side and the Dutch side have their own system of waste management. But what I'm doing on the Dutch side is I'm creating a marketing tool, an advertising tool, to once I get these schools and we have our system in order, I can present this in a document to the French side to say, what are we doing on the Dutch side, which can be cloned to be on the French side. Right now on the French side, as you notice, they have these recycling bins in different locations. But the only thing with those recycling bins is that I find them to be a little bit smallish, because if me and you are putting in enough recyclable materials in a daytime, it will be filling less than an hour. But I have the larger bins, the bins that's the size of the Vromi type green bins, which I have in the school system. And then I have a smaller bin, which is used to collect just the caps. My system and trick of working with this system is I screw on the tops of the bins. So the students cannot open the tops, no one. I screw them down and I put a hole small enough to collect the bottles, a hole small enough to collect the caps. That way it's difficult to have a mixture of cardboards and all different things that's not necessary to go in. So if you look at my bins, all of them have small holes to the front just to collect the bottles, the glass, and then a smaller one for the gas bottle cups. So that was my idea of doing, keeping the students from having too much of waste streams and mixed streams in the recycling bins.
What do you want us to know about your Green Dream project?
Well, one of the things I would like to see here, at least by the end of the year, is to see all the schools involved in the Green Dream project. We can actually have some businesses involved. We have to start someplace. We can't delay because if you look at where we are with the Phillipsburg landfill, I mean, if you look on the French side, there's certain things that has to be done. My idea for the Phillipsburg landfill in general was to perhaps we can have a recovery facility whereas people can have their recyclables taken to an area or transported area where they are recovered, they are separated, they are baled, and I think that would be one of the things that would if you want to have a zero system on island, you need a combination of the recycling recovery system, and you need to also have a waste to energy or some type of incinerator to rid of those items that are not recyclable.
Yeah. You think incinerators are okay?
Yes, but you have to be able to monitor them to make sure that they're not a potential harm to the environment as well as the surrounding communities. And you have to know where to place them as well, because that's very important to monitor and track what pollutants are coming from those landfills. Yeah. It's important because you have surrounding areas, you have water. This area is surrounded by a lot of water. And so you have to be very cautious in where you put those facilities. You got to remember we're in a hurricane environment, and you don't want your facility to be destroyed in one Hurricane Irma.
Then you're in trouble.
So you have to put it in a safe area where it won't cost you millions of dollars to replace it, to rebuild it if it's destroyed.
What have students said to you that surprised you the most since you started?
Well, the students are very surprised about the recycling effort we're doing in the school, because I told them, listen, practice it on your school grounds.
Yeah.
Think in terms that, look at that garbage pan over there, filled with all different types of recyclable materials. If you take the recyclables out of those containers and place them in the recycling bins, what happens? You have less garbage. The only thing left in that would be the non-recyclables. What you do? Incinerate, burn them. Then what you have? A zero waste management system. Then you wouldn't need to really have a landfill because everything is taken care of.
Yeah. Wow. Imagine if we had done that 30 years ago.
Well,
I just imagine.
You have to have some type of control over your waste because it can get out of hand. You can, for example, it's only so high you can go with a landfill. Then you got to go out.
Are we creating a mountain?
When you go out,
yeah.
What happens if you're in the pond? What happens when the floodgates come? What happens if you have a tsunami? What if the water comes to the sea, meets with the pond? You're in trouble. What happens to all the businesses around there? What happens to the odors and the stench that comes from the landfill?
Let me ask you,
it's a problem.
Have you been to the landfill recently in Great Salt Pond?
I've passed it several times, through the government building.
On the landfill itself?
No, I have not gone on the landfill itself.
You should. And I think it will be very good for your project to take some of your ambassadors there to see it. It's enormous and it's heartbreaking. To see where it is today and how it is growing so massive. And I am not saying this to get you in trouble. I think what you're doing is a good project. But our problem in St. Martin, we like to pretend and hide things. And the time has come for reality. And a reality check. In that landfill, you should go there and take some use to it. You'll be surprised.
Okay. Well, that's a good idea. I've seen some pictures, just through Facebook, the internet and above, and I've seen individuals roaming through the garbage areas and different, etc. I've seen some of the fires that come from the landfill.
That's under control now, the fires so far, yeah.
But this particular Green Dream project is my initiative of having students involved, letting them know what is a solution. There's a lot of solutions, but one of the solutions you can, especially with plastic pollution. There's a lot of plastic pollution. I would love to see, for example, going back, Friendside has a curbside recovery facility. You can have the recyclables thing. They have all the separation. They're very organized. My project, the collections of the recyclables by the waste hauler, and I have a service agreement with the waste hauler, is taken to the Friendside, not the dot side. Reason why? Because I wanted students to know that recyclables, if you're going to recycle something, you don't put them back inside the landfill. You keep the recyclables by themselves, you send them to a processing area where they are recovered and they process into something new. So that's the idea of the perpetual projects, a plastic project. It shows that you're taking something that's reusable and you're making it into something new. And that's the whole idea.
But I think, and the reason why I brought up going there and taking students there is for that same reason. So they can see firsthand what most people in St. Martin don't really know when you're there on that site. It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And so for them, it will say, look, this is a problem, and that's the reason why we need to do something now. And the Green Dream Project is just a small step in that direction, but a very important step because you're targeting young people. But if they see it physically right there on top of it, I think the impact to many of them will be quite interesting.
Thank you. One of the things I want to mention is some of the schools. Milton Peters College, St. Mark Academy, St. Mark PSVE, St. Dominic High Primary Schools, all the Catholic school systems. We have Hillside, we have the Max school system, we have the SDS school, etc., etc. So I think maybe I like maybe a few more schools to join, but pretty much at the end of the year, I would expect all the public schools, including the private, to be part of the Green Dream Project. Well, and it's here to stay because once it has sustainability, it's here to stay. We can't go and take away the recycling from the school and say, no, you can't do it. You can't do it anymore. That's not going to happen. Once it's in the school system, that's what I say it's important to start in the school system. It is there. It's a learning activity. Remember, these students graduate and they're new students, and they're going to learn the system. So when a student leaves Hillside Christian Primary, they go to St. Mark Academy, Milton Peters College, what happens? It's there already.
So are you telling them to do the same thing at home?
I want the students eventually to work with their parents at home, and then with the schools to develop a project where they could work around. Like you have the Milton Peters College community. There's residentials, buildings there. Set up a system where you could have recycling bins in the area, and let's do a pilot program where we see how it works. And so that is my general idea, is to expand in the community. So when regulations come aboard as to how we need to separate our garbage, how we need certain things we need to do, we already know. The committee would not be in the background. They will already have a general idea because of the Green Dream projects. So the Green Dream project is actually an initiative that says this is how it's supposed to be, and if you do this at your home, the kids can show their parents how to do it. You set up recycling bins. What happens now when you generate regulation? People have an understanding about it. You don't want to wait 15 years later. Start from now. When you start from now, when those kids imagine those kids, elementary school, 8, 9, 10 years old. They have to go through the whole high school stream, and they have the same recycling process under the Green Dream Project. They become genius. They can generate ideas. So when they finish, and another thing too, they have something to put on their resume that looks good on their college resume. When they apply for a job or they apply for college, they say, what did you do in school? We was part of the Green Dream Project, and I was a green ambassador, and I was an input clerk for Mr. Javios, and we did this and we did that. It looks good on their resume. Even at that small age, those kids, they would generate ideas.
Well, Mr. Javios, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
You have a great project, the Green Dream Project. And I have about 30 seconds all remaining yours. Anything you want to add?
I would like to say thank you to all the green managers, the directors, the board members, the teachers, the students, yourself, Mr. Gates, for giving me the opportunity to be here today, for being part of this Green Dream Project. And I look forward to all the schools becoming part of this Green Drop, including businesses as well.
Now, I have to remind you, you brought me a T-shirt, right?
Yes, I did brought you a T-shirt. I have here this. I'm going to consider you the Green Ambassador of Television. I'm going to have this one for you. And then I have a miniature one which I use for the Green Ambassadors, which I'm going to have available for you. And then I have this T-shirt. Is everyone can see it?
Yeah,
this T-shirt, which I'm going to present to you as a say thank you for inviting me here to the radio station today, the television station today, and compliments of the Green Dream Project.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Javios. Again, thank you for the gifts and wish you much success.
Thank you so much.
All right. And that's it for now, right here on Speaking of Everything on Hot 99.9 FM Radio, Facebook, and YouTube. See you next time. Take care. Bye.